Whoa. Dear Tim and Moby, I am doing an art project about Frida Kahlo. Who was she? From Andrew. Well, Frida Kahlo was one of the most important Latin American artists of the 20th century. She was born Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderon on July 6, 1907. Her mom was Mexican and her father was German. Yeah, it's quite a name. She grew up in Coyoacan, on the outskirts of Mexico City. When she was little, her father encouraged her to play sports, which wasn't common for girls at that time. But at age 7, a viral disease called polio made her very sick, weakening the muscles in her right leg. She wore long skirts through most of her life, in part to hide her leg. While in school, Kahlo witnessed a number of bloody struggles between armed groups in Mexico City. Well, this was during the Mexican Revolution, which gripped the country from 1910 to around 1921. It was essentially a fight for better living conditions for the underprivileged. Because of her experiences in Mexico City, Kahlo became a strong supporter of peasants' rights. Later, in 1925, she was in a bus accident that fractured her spine and pelvis, dislocated her shoulder, and caused other terrible injuries. She was hurt so bad that she could never have children. To relieve the boredom of recovery and to help deal with the pain and sadness of the accident, she began to paint. In her paintings, Kahlo really explored her identity. In fact, 55 of the 143 paintings she completed were self-portraits. Her work deals with her status as a woman, her mixed ancestry, her turbulent marriage to Mexican painter Diego Rivera, the pain of her injuries, and her commitment to revolutionary politics. Many people consider her paintings examples of surrealism, since much of what she painted was fantastical, but Kahlo never considered herself a surrealist. Well, she didn't really have a thick mustache like that. But she always painted herself with one, maybe to criticize traditional standards of beauty or to explore her experience of being a woman. Kahlo's work is unique because she took the bright colors and dramatic symbolism of Mexican culture and combined them with traditions from European art. In a painting called The Little Deer, she painted her head onto the body of a stag hit by arrows. The arrows in the stag's back suggest the pain of her injuries, along with the unsuccessful operation she was undergoing to help that pain. But they also evoke the martyrdom of Saint Sebastian, a theme popular in European art. And they also reference the Danza del Venado, a deer hunting ritual dance performed by Mexican tribes. In Two Fridas, she paints two versions of herself, one in traditional Mexican clothes and another in European clothes of an earlier century. A vein connects the hearts of the two women, and blood is dripping out from one end. This was painted just after she and Rivera got divorced. If you look closely, you can see that the Mexican Kahlo holds a portrait of Rivera. Symbols such as the exposed hearts and stormy sky suggest the pain that Kahlo felt. Check out how one of the hearts is broken, and the other one's whole. She seems to be suggesting that Rivera only loved the Mexican part of her. A painting called Roots looks a little more cheerful at first. Her chest is open, but instead of a broken heart, it holds a plant that connects her to the ground. She seems to be getting strength from the earth and helping to bring it back to life. On the other hand, that same plant that connects her to the ground seems to be trapping her. Yeah, in a lot of ways, Kahlo had an unhappy life. And her final years were filled with pain. She even had to have one of her legs amputated. She died on July 13th, 1954, when she was only 47 years old. Her art is filled with sadness, but it also expresses pride in her Mexican heritage and the joy of being a woman. What do you think? Yeah, me too.